I'm tired of losing, so I got me a tuning guide. This is RC Oval Speed Lab Late Model Tuning Guide by RC Oval Speed Lab. I'll have a link in the description, but this is going to be the closest thing to what I need because they do not have a short course or a buggy-based street stock tuning guide. So I'm going to use this, and we're going to go over a chapter once a month. There's 10 chapters, so that would be 10 months. And afterwards, hopefully we'll do a lot better, and we'll see the results. Stay tuned. Alright, chapter 1. What makes a late model unique? Late models generate rotation through rear camber link height and length, rear steer. We have to be careful with that because we're not allowed rear steer except for on the buggies with pills to change the rear steer on the buggy. Droop tuning, we can do that. Spring split and shock angle, we can kind of do that. Hub height tuning and hub height tuning. It also describes how it differs from a sprint car based on aero and balance. Sprint car aero is more violent and right rear dominant versus the late model, and how aero differences translate to driving feel. Kind of like the downforce source being deck and roof and nose versus top wing and tail wing. Being broad and steady downforce versus intense and directional. Feeling smooth and settled versus planted, twitchy. Attitude changes. The exit feel, the center feel, being the center feel being balanced versus right rear loaded. Strong but linear forward drive through the exit versus wing loads right rear for explosive bite. A yaw sensitivity, I'm not sure what that is, but we'll find out. Moderate versus high. Setup priorities. Body rake, deck height, spoiler angle versus wing angle. Forward, aft, side panel loading. Also, why aero helps late models more than drivers expect. Why sprint cars feel wilder and more reactive. And what this means for setup philosophy. It means that we need to prioritize body rake, spoiler angle, deck height, nose height, side dam stiffness, and keeping the aero platform stable throughout the controlled chassis roll. It also describes the 3 phases of the corner, being entry that unloads the right front fast, the chassis begins to roll, rear steer geometry becomes active, aero platform stabilizes or destabilizes the nose. This car either feels calm or edgy. A great entry feels predictable, smooth, settled, free enough to rotate but not loose. A bad entry feels twitchy, snappy, hesitant, tight but then loose, and the car feels like it skips into the turn. And then it goes into what the center is like. Most of the weight is on the right front and right rear. Rear camber length height determines roll rate and rotation. Rear steer dictates how naturally the car arcs. Aero adds stability, layer of downforce. Spring split finally shows its true behavior. Great center feels like the car bends naturally through the arc. Natural, not pushing, not rotating too quickly. Balance left to right. Smooth, even on slick surfaces. Settled in its roll angle without falling over. A bad center feels tight or plowing. Too free to the point of spinning. Laziness and unwilling to rotate. It likes to tip over on the right rear. It likes to tip too far over on the right rear. Nervous when mid-corner bumps appear. And then it talks about phase 3, the corner exit. This is when the weight shifts rearward. The left rear loads significantly. Anti-squat becomes active. The spoiler contributing more downforce. The car either drives straight or steps out sideways. A great exit feels straight, planted, predictable. Able to take throttle early. Responsive without fishtailing. A bad exit feels like it's loose or fishtailing. Tight or bogged down, like the car is dog walking. As well as unstable when the left rear tries to plant. Snappy when the rear geometry loads too quickly, and why breaking the corner into phases matters. Mostly because tuning becomes simpler, changes become targeted, you stop chasing ghosts, and the car gains consistency. How a late model makes a lap time. It's how deep you dive into the corner, how cleanly the car rotates in the center, and how hard you can go on the throttle on exit. Every step decision affects one or all of these. Let's break them down. Corner entry. Carrying speed deeper. On entry, a fast RC late model stays settled, under speed, doesn't dart or unload the rear, begins rotation without snapping, accepts steering input without hesitation, rolls onto the right front smoothly and consistently. Entry speed matters because the later the lift point is time gained before the turn. Stable entry reduces corrections. Better set creates smoother center. Confidence on entry builds consistency across the run. Most entry speed improvement comes from nose height, right front spring rate, rear camber length height, rear steer amount. See, we can't do that. Tire compound and prep, as well as ESC drag brake settings. See, we can do this on the street stock, but we can't do it on the slash late model. And we can't do body rig on the slash late model as well. Mid corner, rotating without scrubbing speed. A fast late model in the center rolls onto the right rear in a controlled arc, rotates without pushing up the track. It doesn't over rotate or snap, keeps the body and deck stable, maintains rolling speed instead of stopping or sliding. Center speed is determined by rear camber length, height, on a major lever, rear camber length, spring split between the left rear and the right rear, droop amount, right rear lead angle, hub height, rear shock angle, tire sidewall flex, aero deck stability, and then it talks about corner exit, throttle timing, and forward drive. A fast late model on exit drives forward, not sideways, loads the left rear progressively, keeps the rear aligned with steering direction, stops rotation at the right moment, feels stable even when you're on full throttle. The exit is shaped by anti-squat, left rear spring rate, right rear spring rate, the amount of rear steer, droop timing, spoiler angle, tire compound. See, we can't change the tire compound, but we can change the prep, throttle curve and expo, motor timing and punch. See, we can do motor timing and punch on our street stock, but we can't do it on our slash late model. And a lap time is a flow, not a point. Remember, a perfect entry means nothing if the center is too tight. A perfect center means nothing if the exit is loose. And a perfect exit means if you won't entry, if means nothing if entry won't let you roll in speed. Fast late models have smooth transitions, predictable roll, even tire loading, aero stability, geometry, and shocks working together. The key lap time question is, later lift equals better entry, earlier throttle equals better exit. Key takeaways. Lap time comes from flow, not force. Entry, center, exit must connect logically. Enter confidence increases power lift point. Center rotation determines how the car stores speed. Exit stability determines how early you can commit to the throttle. RC late models reward efficient speed, not wild side bite. A fast car makes you feel you're doing less, not more. The 4 pillars of late model speed is balance, consistency, adaptability, and drivability. You want to have balance in your RC car. You want it to enter calmly, rotate cleanly, exit strongly, responds predictably, and doesn't surprise you at the worst moment. A balanced car feels neutral, composed, efficient, predictable under load, able to take throttle early, easy to place and correct. Benefits of balance is you can dive deeper on entry, center arc becomes smoother, exit becomes straighter and faster, tire wear improves, lapse times becomes repeatable. You also have to have consistency. It evolves rapidly in RC racing, mostly because of track conditions, because rubber builds in carpet racing, moisture disappears in dirt racing, and rubber also builds in dirt racing as well on high bite tracks. Lanes shift, tires heat up and cool down, and battery voltage drops. Consistency comes from stable aero, correct spring split, proper camber link geometry, predictable chassis roll, so you have to have your shock oils right, good droop balance, a smooth throttle curve, tire selections that match the run length. Consistent car may not feel the fastest on a single hero lap, but it will win a race because the turtle always beats the hare. It really makes up a huge balance swings. It stays planted even when the track slips. It produces repeatable lap times. It's easier on tires. It lets the driver stay locked into a rhythm. As well as the third pillar, adaptability. You don't have to reinvent the car every weekend. You don't chase settings that don't translate from track to track. You use known pig levers for bite, rotation, and stability. You can make meaningful changes in minutes between heats. Rear camber length. Major adaptabilities include rear camber length, height, rear camber length, rear steer mount, anti-squat, hub height, droop, spoiler angle, tire compound, which we cannot do, but we can do prep, shock angle, and shock oil. Highly adaptable car gives you confidence in testing, efficient race day tuning, predictable reactions to changes, the ability to quickly chase evolving track conditions, and less confusion and fewest resets. You also have to have drivability. Drivability means smooth steering response, line holding ability, predictable roll in through the corner, easy corrections, strong forward drive without having the tail end whip out in front of you. A drivable car feels like a calm, forgiving, smooth in transitions, able to take throttle early, easy to place on the cushion or on the bottom, consistent across mistakes. When a car is drivable, the driver inputs become cleaner, lap-to-lap variation decreases, throttle confidence increases, tire wear improves, the car stays fast, deep into a run. Why these four pillars matter. The late models reward drivers who feel balanced, build a balanced car that stay consistent, make smart, minimal changes as track conditions evolve, focus on smooth, efficient driving, keeping the car easy, stable, rather than edgy and reactive. Remember, balance gives the car its personality, consistency gives the car speed throughout the run, adaptability gives the car flexibility across conditions, drivability gives the driver confidence to push harder. This is all because the late model, you need to think the late model as a system. The late model performance stems from the interaction of these primary subsystems: mechanical geometry in links, steer, anti-squat and droop, suspension and dampening, springs, shocks, pistons, pack, and angle. I'm not sure what pack means. Aero and mass distribution. This is body rate, deck height, spoiler angle, and weight placement. When thinking about mechanical grip system, the mechanical grip comes from the car's core geometry. This is the rear camber length height or roll center, the rear camber length, roll gain and side bite, rear steer, See, we can't do this in the slash late model, but we can do it in the street stock. Anti-squat, droop, spring split, and hub height. Suspension and dampening system. Springs determine how the chassis moves. Shocks determine when the chassis moves. This is affecting roll speed, responsiveness, stability over bumps, corner entry calmness, exit timing and bike. Aero and mass system. Aero influences entry stability, mid-corner smoothness, accident confidence, roll consistency, straight line tracking. Electronics as a full function part of the system. You can influence the drag brake, which will you cannot do this on the slash late model, but you can do it on street stock. Drag brake controls entry and stability. Throttle curve shapes the mid-corner steering rate. The punch and timing affects exit bite. ESC brake strength changes how the front loads. The tires as the final transition layer. Tire behavior depends on compound durometer, which is the stickiness of a tire, sidewall strength, tread profile, prep, the amount of heat cycles, and the track's moisture. This would be the track's temperature for carpet racing. So you have to, when you're thinking as a system instead of individual modifications thinking, this is when individual thinking, say your car is tight, change something random. So you change something random and you don't know why you did it or what the change was. Instead of system thinking, the car is tight in the center. So you think the rear geometry is too low, aero rake is off, and droop is too limited. One approach guesses, the other one diagnoses. Tuning becomes predictable when you understand why the car behaves the way it does, how the subsystem affects the others, which changes solve the real problem, not symptom. The single change won't. The example of system interaction is, example, the car is loose on exit. A single change won't fix it. A system of tuner checks, is the rear geometry over-rotating in the center? Is the anti-squat too high? Is the spoiler angle supporting the deck? Is the throttle curved too aggressively? Is droop unloading the left rear correctly? Are the tires losing heat or changing stickiness during the run? Remember, a RC late model is multi-layered system, not a list of parts. Geometry, suspension, aero, electronics, and tires interact constantly. They're all cogs in the system. Every change has a primary and secondary effect. You have to know both. System thinking produces predictable, repeatable performance. This mindset is a foundation for advanced tuning. So what did we learn today? We learned the differences between a late model and a sprint car. We learned the 3 phases of a corner. We learned the mechanics of a lap for a late model. We also learned the 4 pillars of a good lap. and a good late model. And then we learned about thinking of us as a system and not individual modifications. Check in next time while we dive into chapter 2. See ya.